Members, I rise today in these House chambers to be a voice, and I'm grateful that I have this voice. I love the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And I will always fight for that right in this country. So I rise today to be a voice, not just for my district, certainly for my district, because I door knocked 5,000 houses in my district. And I know there's some who knocked many more, but I certainly know where my district is on this issue. Not only am I going to be a voice for them, I will be a voice for my God, because I have that right afforded to me in the Constitution as well. And I know exactly where He stands on this issue as the living God. I will rise in this moment right now to be a voice for innocent lives, and I make zero apology for it. I'm just going to share with you quickly an experience that I had at the state capitol here, and hopefully I won't get ruled out of order because it does have to do with another bill, HF1. When that bill passed, I heard cheering. I heard hooting and hollering. I heard celebration and one side doing a victory dance, basically, to be honest with you. And I went home that night in tears and grieved. See, at that time, my wife was still pregnant with our child, Seth. And I've had Seth on in this house chamber twice. Many of you got to hold him. And I can remember when we first went to the doctor and we had a telehealth conference with the doctor, a doctor out of a St. Cloud hospital. And one of the first, after we got the pleasantries out of the way in that meeting, the first question the doctor asked us was, and this was after we found out that my son had Down syndrome, trisomy 21. One of the first questions, the first question the doctor asked me was, "Are you going to continue with the pregnancy?" My wife and I, we kind of looked at each other like, what? And my answer was, of course. And her answer was, yeah. And I was blown away that that's the first question the doctor asked. And in hindsight, I'm meditating and thinking about this, and I'm going, I just wonder how many children's lives were ended in the womb because of the seed that was planted because of that question in the doctor's office. Over 90% of children with trisomy 21 in this country, their lives are ended in the womb. Over 90%. That's not made up by me, that is a fact. I've heard that north of the border in Canada, it's almost 100%. And you know, I'll be real honest with you. When we first got the news that my son had trisomy 21, I couldn't explain the emotions I felt. And my wife and I, we actually broke out in tears at times. And I just couldn't quite explain, and I know I'm being very vulnerable with you, but I couldn't quite explain the emotions I was having. And another one of our doctors, we were meeting with the doctor, and she was very compassionate and very good at her job. And she said this, "I think I know what you're going through. You're grieving the loss of the child you thought you were going to have." And when she said that, I was like, whoa, that's it. And a little time went on, I watched a video. I started studying trisomy 21. And I started listening to the testimonies of adults with trisomy 21. And I was blown away by these folks. And I was blown away by the fact that I had a lot to learn in life from these folks. And I had this thought, you know what? These folks aren't less of a person than I am. Perhaps they're more. And I heard the testimony of one person, as someone asked this person, this beautiful woman who had trisomy 21, they asked her, what would you do if you didn't have Down syndrome? And she got this puzzled look on her face, and this changed my life, hearing her testimony. She said, without Down syndrome, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be me. And I had this revelation, perhaps she's exactly as her Creator created her to be. I think she got it. And I realized, man, I got a lot to learn. And we're ending over 90% of those lives here in this country. Committing genocide on an entire generation of people. And maybe you don't like what you're hearing right now. I would appeal to your conscience. I'm trying. Ronald Reagan, I quoted him on this floor just the other day, but again, one of my childhood heroes. He said, I've noticed that everyone who is for abortion has already been born. I've noticed that everyone for abortion has already been born. And I have this thought, what hypocrisy that we have as the state of Minnesota. We who have this great right to life and to the freedoms that we enjoy. Every one of us in here is breathing air, that we would deny that right to every person and child who is not breathed air, that we would rob them of that right. And I know the accusations, gosh, I've heard all the accusations towards me and towards others who are pro-life. You're anti-women's rights. No, I am not. Oh, you're not for bodily autonomy. No. Oh, you just condemn women who've had abortions. No. In fact, I've supported ministries that reach out to women because many times, and I can't testify to this for every woman, but I know for a fact there's a lot of women who went through an abortion and afterwards they were absolutely left alone to deal with the feelings and the emotions they were experiencing. Left high and dry. And there are pregnancy support centers out there who are trying to help those women. And I've seen this body attack those ministries. You're not for bodily autonomy. Oh, I am for a bodily autonomy. Every child's body in the womb. And every single one of those children's right to breathe air. I'm going to be a voice for them in this chamber. And perhaps if they did have a voice where they could speak to us today on this house floor, perhaps this is what they would say. For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully woven together in the depths. And then it goes on to say, away from me, you who are bloodthirsty. I understand we're all accountable for the people in our districts, for how we're going to vote on this bill today. But I would just warn you that you're also accountable to the one who forms them in the womb. You're also accountable to the one who formed them in the womb. Please vote for life today, members. Thank you.